With the competition closing in on his series points lead, Chris Borich desperately needed a win at the last round of the GNCC series. And he got it. After withstanding a challenge from Chris Bithell and Brian Wolf early, Borich launched a patented last lap charge to take the win and prove he's once again the man. Hello everyone and welcome to Racer TV's coverage of the Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Series. Jason Wygant here at the legendary Unadilla Valley Sports Center in upstate New York. This place has made a name for itself as one of the oldest running motocross tracks in the country. But for the last couple of years, it has hosted the best of the cross-country tour as well. And these boys are about to get underway. We have our morning race gathering on the starting line. That's for novices, 4x4 machines, and our women's class. Give you some of the facts on this track. It's 9 miles through the woods with a little bit of motocross mixed in. Probably do about 7 laps in the 2 hours of race time we will have. And there's the big crowd, nearly 1,400 riders on hand. This is generally the largest race of the year because everyone wants to say they tamed the Dilla. Once that morning race completes, we will clear the starting line and get ready for our pro riders. The story coming in, Chris Borich, your two-time and defending GNCC champion, had his issues in the last couple of races, but at our previous round of the tour bounced back to take a win. So he's trying to get the momentum back in this series. We'll see if anyone can take it from the number one today. Off the line into the first turn, Jeff Pickens on the blue, just going to edge out Kevin Yoho on the lucky number 13 in white, but Yoho to the inside and quickly takes the lead back. So a couple of privateers battling up front with the favorites. You see Adam McGill on the number 3 way back with a bad start, and that is difficult because these are tight woods here at the Dilla. They won't hit the motocross track until later in this lap, and by then, the damage of a bad start may already be done. There's the 3 of McGill and the 1 of Borich even further back. Then the 4 of Bithell, the 2 of Taylor Kaiser. How is that? The fastest riders in this tour. It's almost like we have an inverted start. They are way back. Let's go back to the starting line for our XC2 division. And Walker Fowler going to control the lead. No, that's Matt Hanna on the Yamaha out of New Concord, Ohio. Meanwhile, Fowler has won every race in this class on the number 7. He was 3rd through that section. Good job by Hanna to lead them around. 17 of Eric Hoyland out of Virginia, the number 2 spot. Then comes Fowler. This is the division between our amateur ranks and our pro riders on row 1. We call them the Pro-Ams, and they are slowly but surely learning the ropes and learning how to run the pace of your leaders. In fact, Fowler has won an overall this year on adjusted time. He beat all the riders, including the pros. So this class is definitely fast. They don't quite have the experience, though, of Yoho, who's leading the way in XC1. And Yoho did race that XC2 class for a couple of years, but is definitely making his presence known, leading this one. And we're waiting on your fast boys, the guys who have won the races this year, slowly working their way forward. I see McGill, Bithell, Kaiser, Chris Borich even further back. Now we're beginning to hover around the legendary Unadilla motocross track, and this place will open up. Got to be difficult to tune the machine in for the tight woods and the rough terrain, and then the real fast stuff and the big jumps out of the moto track. By the way, it looks like Jared McClure on the National Guard machine has moved up to 2nd ahead of Pickens, and here comes just about everybody else. Wait, that is Borich. Unbelievable the amount of passes he has made early on the number 1 to get back toward the front, and you see the 2 of Kaiser, the 8 Brian Cook, 3 of McGill. Well, they're on his heels, and they've got to be, because look at the advantage Yoho has with the good start. Not choosing to air it out in that section, and like we said, it's a big difference in setup on a Grand National Cross Country ATV. If they were to come out here on a motocross day, as Pickens jumps a little bit further, you could widen the machine out, you get a little more wheel travel that way, you'd stiffen the suspension quite a bit, and then you'd be able to air out these big doubles. Although someone, I've got to think, is going to get desperate as the day goes on and try to make passes on the motocross track. But see, look at the tree roots and the whoops that they've got to deal with in the woods. You run a motocross type suspension setting here, and you're in for a rough ride. This continues to be Yoho leading McClure, leading Pickens, then it's Borich up to 4th. Johnny Gallagher and Mark Notman in the mix. You also got the number 5 jet suspension-backed Honda rider, Donnie Ackerman, and here comes McGill trying to rail the outside and make a move on Kaiser. Couldn't get around the number 2, but he has cleared the number 8 of Brian Cook. The passes are going to come at a premium here in the woods. That's the advantage that Yoho and McClure have, as well as Pickens, who has been a hole shot master the last 2 years in this series. And then there is Borich up to 4th. Borich's strength, of course, the last lap. And I don't think it's just fitness, I think it's just his race strategy. He knows he has speed to burn, so he will try to manage the race, not throw it away, and then in the last lap he will use all that speed when he's in position to try to make passes and hope it's too late for anyone to retaliate. He's looking to make a pass right now. McClure, as we're down pit lane. McClure, look over his right shoulder, and Borich squeezes it in around the outside. I don't think you're supposed to make passes through that section. He found a way to thread the needle. The rest of these riders, they better get moving, or Borich is going to get away.
Riders expect certain things from a Can-Am ATV. Groundbreaking technology, responsive handling, and the most power in every class. So why would they expect anything less from a Can-Am side-by-side? Introducing the Can-Am Commander, the most powerful wreck utility side-by-side in the industry, with precision handling and the first dual-level cargo box. The facts say it's the most advanced side-by-side ever built, but the ride says it all.
Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am, by Amsoil, DWT, and by Suzuki. Welcome back. What a tour de force for this man, Chris Borich. Bad start at all, but he's got company. Brian Wolf has been the only one able to hook on with Borich's torrid run from the back of the pack to the front. Jared McClure is 3rd. There, Chris Bithell up to 4th. And our early leader, Kevin Yoho, has apparently run into problems. He has gone to the back of this group. Here comes Taylor Kaiser. Here comes Adam McGill. Amazing. The riders who seriously were the last 4 in the lead group of this pro race are now the front of the group, with Wolf hanging there with him. A little bit further back here, you see some of the obstacles you got to deal with. Machines broken on the side of the course, fans trying to tell which are the best lines to take to get up these big hills. And through it all, this group, Borich, McGill, Kaiser, Bithell, and Wolf, have come through. Wolf was hovering there all race long, but it looks like once Borich caught him, Wolf, well, we've seen it before, he definitely has the speed to run even with Borich. Wolf has won these races before, doesn't quite have the consistency yet. But in a game of heads-up racing, he can run with anyone. Here's Borich working his way through his chicane. They got to slow these riders down before some of these big motocross jumps. And there is Wolf blasting through next. So Borich putting the power down. This is rare to see the number 1 try to check out early in the race. Here it is, lap 2 of what we think will be a 7-lap race. And Borich, all systems go, races past the Suzuki pit, but look, Wolf is closed back in. I'm telling you, this guy's got speed. And I don't know if anyone else is going to be able to catch him. Will we see a 3, 4, 5 rider battle? I don't know. We just saw the Can-Am teammates go by of Bithell and McGill. Now Kaiser into the Balance Racing Yamaha pit. And yes, that is your 9-time GNCC champ, Bill Balance, not racing today. He's helping gas the team up. Kaiser back out on the course, so a little bit of a different fuel strategy. Kaiser going to pit early, and we'll see if later in the race, maybe he can make some moves. And at Unadilla, with so many riders entered, we showed you before, nearly 1,400 riders on hand today, and only a 9-mile course. Lap traffic, as you watch McGill continue to make up time, lap traffic is going to be a much bigger issue today than at most of these events. And it's always a big issue. It's just going to be extremely large as you see the number 4 of Bithell and the 16 of McClure come through next. So Borich, just nice little lead early. We'll see if that holds up when they start getting slowed up by some of the other riders in other classes who are not full-time racers like these boys. As the race goes on, fatigue's going to set in, and the traffic is going to get slower and slower. And if you're Chris Bithell, who just came by there, or McClure here on the number 16, you are hoping that lap traffic can help you bridge the gap and get back to your leaders. And for Kaiser, he was okay with this. He's already stopped for fuel, so he knows he's going to make up some ground a little bit later because everyone is going to have to pit eventually, at least once, if not twice. And there is Fowler as we check back in with the XC2 division. He has made up a lot of ground early. He has broken free of the rest of the XC2 riders. We got a new leader. Brian Wolf has taken it over from Borch, so Borch's strategy of letting it all hang out early, might as well go back to the old strategy of waiting till late, because just as quickly as he's gotten the lead, he has handed it back over to Brian Wolf. And now McGill in third, beginning to stir. He can see Borch on some of the longer sections of this track. You've got to think, look at that! Huge air and a fist pump from Fowler, who is on the gas. This kid is a teenager. He only knows one way to go, and that's as hard as he can. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with if he can close the gap, because by starting on row 2, if he finishes within 1 minute of this lead trio, he is going to win the race overall. He does have adjusted time on his side. And he must have made up a tremendous amount of ground just over that double. Well, we'll see to the naked eye how close he is as McClure fights his way through, and you can see how rough this track has gotten. That is Fowler. Yeah, he is definitely close. And some of the lap riders wisely getting out of the way as Wolf continues to lead them. There's Borch's pit crew cheering him on. And you gotta wonder what they're putting on those pit boards. Oh, and Borch gets held up. We knew that was gonna be an issue, the lap traffic, and it has just reared its ugly head. Borch is stuck, Wolf getting away, and there's no room for anyone else to go through.
Current GNCC champion Josh Strang has one thing on his mind: winning. To get him over the finish line first, Josh uses the Suzuki RMZ 450, a precision machine designed to leave the competition in the dust. With its potent fuel-injected 4-stroke engine and race-developed chassis, the RMZ 450 is the complete package that wins championships and collects #1 plates. The RMZ 450, it's why champions choose Suzuki. They win. Head down to your local Suzuki dealer today and see one in person.
Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am, by Amsoil, DWT, and by Suzuki. Let's check out the highlights of this morning race here at Unadilla. Of course, brought to you by Can-Am. It is the Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Series, and the Can-Am machine simply dominating in the utility divisions. That includes U2. Cliff Beasley, the dominator in that class, has your whole shot. Here's your women's class to 201 of Kristen Atwell getting out front, but that is a torrid division. You're talking 5 or 6 riders in the women's class who can win races, and they're going to be doing some battle today. No surprise here in the open class, the 990 of Zach Sikowski, another whole shot. He has been pulling them all year, but he does have a guest rider with him today, Marko Jaeger from Slovenia, riding alongside Sikowski, and doing a good job running up front. No challenge in the U2 division. That's Utility Unlimited for this man, the 205 of Cliff Beasley. Dominated the class last year, and with riding like that, he continues to dominate it this year. So we'll check in on the women's division. Tracy Checo leading Angel Atwell. Atwell's got some speed here. She won the championship in 2009, and then her niece Kristen Atwell won it in 2010. And you've also got to watch for Dave Simmons in the senior class. Every week we build up the 4x4 in the women's division, and then Dave Simmons, 50 years plus, goes out and wins the overall. Angel Atwell wins the women's class, and Brian Buchanan won open 4x4 along with Beasley in U2. Our pro riders are in the pits as we rejoin them. That is Wolf in the GT Thunder pits getting fuel, in and out. Got to suspect that Borch is in there as well. The Can-Am riders are in the pits as well. There is Borch, the #1. 3 of the 4 of McGill and Bithell are in. And drag race between McGill and Borch going to beat him out. Borch loves that outside line in that right-hand turn. Bithell on the #4 is 4th. So Borch, who we saw get hung up behind a lap rider on a hill climb before he went to break, you can probably tell everyone after this race, you see, that's why I wait until the last lap. You spend all this energy early to try to get up front, and you give it all back when you go into the lap traffic. And now Wolf has given it back. He's made a mistake. Borch back to the front. McGill with him. Here is Bithell. How many times are we going to see a change-up between these 4? Look at this now. McGill leading Wolf, Boric, and Bithell. Another pass. Now we're on to the motocross track. And it's Wolf in the lead for the second time today. Fans on the side got a lot to cheer about here with this battle. Then it's McGill, then it's Boric, and then Bithell as they drop down over these doubles. You know, it kind of surprises you how competitive these guys are as, Fowler airing it out of the motocross track. And he's got Taylor Kaiser behind him. Kaiser was the last one of that lead group, and now Walker Fowler has passed him. Fowler is definitely up there in the overall in adjusted time, but look at this pack that he would have to try to challenge for the win today. McGill, Wolf, Boric, Bithell, all over this track, different lines, trying to make passes. And I was going to allude to before, as you watch the Yamaha boys hook up, Kaiser and Fowler, as competitive as these riders are, I got to think it's fun for those four out front. They're just passing each other back and forth. They're not going to expend as much energy as you would think. This is like an old-fashioned trail ride. Look at that. McGill, Boric, Wolf, Bithell right there. That's got to be fun. They've already made a bunch of passes. Then we see the 16 of McClure. And we try to keep tabs on the Yamaha duo. Kaiser is back in front of Fowler. They are teammates on the Bill Balance Racing Yamaha squad. Will they work together as a team, or is Fowler just saying, these guys are really fast when you move this far forward in the order? We'll find out.
Any engine. Any season. At home. At the track. Or on the trail. Amsoil, the first in synthetics.
Cast, beadlocked, or spun, the DWT brand has always stood for one thing: perfection. And now DWT means wheels and tires, including the new Moapa utility tires designed for work and play. Then check out DWT's awesome new Sector 3-piece wheel. Dent a rim? Just replace the outer wheel. Plus our full line of competition tires and wheels boxed to match how you race. DWT wheels and tires. Performance, protection, perfection.
Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am, by Amsoil, by DWT, and by Suzuki. We are on the last lap of a 7-lap duel here at Unadilla Valley Sports Center. Chris Bithell has waited until late to make his charge. He has gone from 4th to 1st. His teammate Adam McGill is 2nd. An engine smoking it all. Chris Boric is in 3rd. Boric has had bad luck at this race before. We've seen him in this situation and not been able to get to the machine to the finish line. There is Brian Wolf, who is 4th. Those four riders have exchanged the lead a good half a dozen times today. But they've also got to contend with this Yamaha duo, the number 7 of Walker Fowler, the number 2 of Taylor Kaiser. Fowler, who does not race the pro class, he is a pro-am level rider. He started 1 minute behind the riders on row 1. If he can finish within 59 seconds of Bithell, he will actually win the race on adjusted time. And I don't know if Bithell, McGill, Boric, Wolf, any of those riders know it. The only one who probably has a clue is the number 2 of Kaiser. And Kaiser, he is Fowler's teammate, so he's not going to do anything to try to upset that momentum. So 2 different races to look at, the race on the track and the race on the clock, as the 2 Can-Am boys lead the Suzuki of Boric late in this one as the laps wind down. And a great run again for Brian Wolf, just not able to hold it consistently right down here to the end. It looks like he's losing touch. This kid isn't. Fowler, who is just thrilling the fans with his huge leaps of the sky shot jump on the motocross track, pretty darn fast in the woods as well. Now the signal area, the mechanics have to be communicating. They have to be telling these riders, Fowler is coming and he's in the hunt on adjusted time. That's only really for Bithell to worry about. If you're Boric or McGill, you just want to make passes and get in the lead physically. Here comes the Yamaha duo. And it is still Fowler in front of Kaiser, and I've got to think that's on purpose. Look at Kaiser, not as aggressive through that left-hander. He wants to let the kid run for it because Kaiser knows he doesn't have adjusted time on his side. The Can-Am crew telling McGill to be strong. Can they hold off Boric all the way to the end? That has been the ultimate challenge in this series. As Fowler shakes his head, he's given it everything he has to try to win this one. This is where Chris Boric likes to strike, the last lap. How many times have the duo of McGill and Bithell had him on the ropes like this late? It looked like they were going to beat him. But Boric always seems to have a different line in his back pocket, and he will pull it out in this final stretch. There is Wolf. He is the buffer between the Yamaha duo of Fowler and Kaiser is still there pushing the kid. And that's probably only going to help Fowler. And now we see Boric is taking the lead. What else is new? And where did this line come from? All the way to the right, taking a huge risk. But it's going to pay off because, look, McGill got hung out. He had a lap rider in front. He's not going to make it to the top. Coming down to the final stretch, the fans are at the finish line to cheer on another come-from-behind performance. But the lap rider blocking Boric might cost him time. He's going to take the lead physically and the win. But where is Fowler on the adjustment? There's Bithell. There's McGill. Here comes the Yamaha man. He's got 59 seconds to get to the finish, and he can still win this race overall. And the lap riders are no longer in his way. Walker Fowler's going to do it. He's got the time. If he can just get through these two corners clean, Walker Fowler is going to take his second career overall win. Unbelievable. There are your results. Fowler, by virtue of the ground he made up on that big jump you see behind us, is going to beat out Boric on adjusted time. Let's go to victory lane.
All right, Walker Fowler taking the overall today from the XC2 class again for the second time this year. Walker, you look like you were having a blast out there.
You know, it was just one of those tracks that I got a third place start, got in the lead early, and it flowed really well. I felt awesome on the quad. Best it's been all year. The Balance Racing Yamaha team has really put, the heart and soul into this program, and they make my life so much easier and my job easy. So it was just such an awesome track.
And in the XC1 Pro Class standings, Boric still does beat the rest of his competitors overall today, so he will continue to add to his lead over McGill and Bithell. Thanks to Krista Shaw there for our podium interviews. We'll give you the Can-Am race recap. Early on, a couple of privateers up front. You had Kevin Yoho leading Jeff Pickens, the 16 of Jared McClure. And in the very back of the train, the fastest riders in this game, like Brian Wolf, Taylor Kaiser, Adam McGill, Chris Bithell, and Chris Boric. But before long, the cream would rise to the top, and those 5 riders would get out front. We thought the race would come down to them, but this kid started getting going. He jumped the big double on the motocross track. He hooked up with his teammate Kaiser. He closed in on adjusted time. And while Boric, McGill, and Bithell hooked up in a battle for the lead physically on the track, the number 7 of Fowler continued to close and then locked down an overall win by 6 seconds on adjusted time. Congratulations to the kid. For Krista Shaw, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching Racer TV. We'll catch you next week.